of Standards 1, came and said, no, you got to play this. So I'm very pleased that I can find a unifying song that I can play. You're on African Voices Platform Radio. You're joining me on AfriWoman Chats for this week, and this week my guest is Salma Mohamed, who is, hey! Salma Mohamed is an integrative psychotherapist and the founder of Somali Mental Health Network, among so many other things. And I'll be getting Salma to tell us a little bit more about that and everything else that she's been busy with. But welcome to African Voices again.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to come down.
It's always lovely to speak to you. I feel like every time I'm meeting you, I am inspired. I learn something. And today feels like one of those. And thank you for inviting me to the launch of the Somali Mental Health Network.
It couldn't be a launch without you. It could not be a launch without you. Thank you for coming, honestly.
Yeah, how have things been since then? Because you've since gone and done a lot more other things.
Yeah, I think that was the starting point of the Somali Mental Health Network. It was very new, actually. It's still a baby. But he's done so much as a toddler, I guess. And it's not something I'm doing, it's a we thing, which is amazing. Yeah. We had to take a lot of time to figure out exactly what we wanted to do with it. There was so much potential being professionally led by around 180 different professionals in mental health care.
Yeah.
That our Somali is a game changer, because usually we don't have that clinical insight to the things we want to strategically shape.
Yeah.
So I think that we had a lot of conversations around system change, and and I think things are just becoming a lot more exciting, a lot more structured in terms of governance, in terms of how we want to be, but in terms of like the opportunities, it's not just community facing, it's upstream support for mainstream services to understand our communities a lot better than they do now.
Shall we start from there? So what is the Somali Mental Health Network, for those who do not know what it is and why you birthed that?
Yeah, there's a lot of, so my background, obviously I'm an integrative psychotherapist, and I realized in my training there was a lot of people I was carrying when people in the room were carrying themselves, and I felt like I was carrying my community in that room that I couldn't express. So I felt a lot of loneliness, a lot of your experiences or your community's experiences do not matter in the translation to what you're learning. So there was a disconnect. And then that was ironic, because when we do graduate, we're then facing communities that are from war-torn communities or are the global majority.
Yeah.
So how can we actually unpack that? It feels like these stories and narratives don't matter to unpack and help and support the same way that other stories can.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was just me that looked like me. I felt very insecure. I felt like, to survive this, I'll stay quiet, I'll stay silent. And I wasn't the only one.
Like the system was just built to silence you rather than to allow you to speak up and be, right?
Yeah, representation was very lacked in lecturers, and and the content we were learning was really, really important for our communities to have that healing opportunity. It's just not in a way that our communities can box their narratives in a box and deliver it to the person that looks completely different to them.
Yeah.
So that's what you call epistemic injustice, and I was really passionate about mental health inequality, and I had two lanes. I either continue working in a system that wasn't shaped for those kind of communities, or like actually do something about it. Like, why is it just those theories in a book that we should just conform to when there's so much more new, like the migration of our parents and their parents, for example. We're the first generation that can actually bridge the two cultures. Totally. We're like literally bridges. That in itself deserves to be explored, like the pressures behind that.
Yeah. What does that mean actually as British born children to Somali parents and the heritage and your mental health and a system that doesn't quite shape up that to you, right?
Yeah, and there's no word for sad in Somali.
Yeah.
We say
there's no word for sad in Somali. Okay.
Language and literacy and mental health itself is a barrier, let alone actually accessing that support. And also a big generational gap between young people that have these languages and these ways of expressing themselves. They can't with their parents, because their parents are shut out from that understanding, literally can't speak the language that their parents can. And therefore there's a lot of shame and stigma in mental health because there's lack of awareness.
Yeah.
We need to rechange everything.
Yeah.
So that's where the network is about, is bringing Well, it started off with my TikTok video that went viral.
Is that how it started?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was like, guys, like, am I alone? Is there anyone else out there? I developed a community, and since then, like, just consistently getting supported by them, and I support them, and now it's a network of leadership programs of something called The Circle, which is a reflective space we're launching in a couple of months, where people can sign up and join a cohort.
So that's part of the Somali Mental Health Network?
Yeah,
okay, that's
to stay
good.
connected, and then all the information and the themes to create systemic change within institutions, like partnering with them, doing something about this is important. Yeah.
And is the network best understood as a network, a movement, or something else? Because I saw that you had so many practitioners that spoke, and you got them from all over the country. Like some came from Scotland.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it a movement? Is it a
That's
network?
a really good question. That is a very good question. And that's what was complicated after that launch event. There was so much support and so many people willing to be involved. We didn't know where to start. But right now, what we are is an organisation. It's a CIC. So we can hold space. There's a few arms to this. So there's an arm that is institution, upstream, training, things like that for organisations in the NHS and partnerships. There's another one which is research that we're starting to get into, which is proving these narratives, first of all, do exist, and how do we create new roles within mental health care for communities that deserve that unpacking. And the third one is holding space for the network itself. So that's whether that's upskilling them or having them as leaders, like the emerging leaders that I'm part of, but having them as leaders. So are they going to run a workshop? There's a lot of inquiries that we get from other organisations, like, do you have a mental health professional that specialises in eating disorders that can come? How do we create that safety for them, build their confidence, and get them to access these communities, like a domino effect? They can't do that alone.
Like, it's important that you're doing this, but I find it very frustrating that in 2026, you're having to prove that these things exist, are important. But, so what you've done is literally, you've not just, you and whomever else you're working with, you're not just trying to do a piece of work that shows these things, but you're literally bulldozing, like, look, we gotta start from somewhere. Not that we have to prove ourselves, because we know we exist and this is our lived experiences, but you're actually working towards, you need to evidence these things. Why is that so important? Because you know you're living it, you know it. Why is it so important to evidence?
It is annoying, and it requires a lot of work. I mean, you know this more than anyone in terms of burnout. We shouldn't have to burn out to prove that something like this mission is very important, especially the way that we provide that mental health support. We meet communities where they're at, but also like that we're not just, when you look at somebody like me, you don't think that I'm capable perhaps of being a CEO or being a leader, or let's just say within institutions that are very much dominant in mental health care. You don't see people like me at the top.
No.
And I think we need to be at the top because, that's where decisions are being made for communities. And I think for me, it's really upsetting how long it's taken for us to get to this place. And I'm really grateful we had the opportunity to study. But it takes someone to, even while you're studying, you don't just automatically get to the top.
No.
You've got to fight your own unconsciousness of where you're built to be.
You have to acknowledge it.
And fight it as well. It's important to me because of lived experience. I know how it feels to explain your mental health in a way that is, I like to say, culturally spiced. It's a bit different to stories they might hear as practitioners, and have that put to a side because it doesn't match what they've been trained in. And I just think it is so important as a new generation now to do our elders justice, but also not be fearful of the stigma there, not be angry, have compassion because of that lack of awareness.
Absolutely, like you said, the bridge, the way you describe the bridge. Usually when people talk about bridging between generations, they don't speak to it in so much nuance as you've just done. But I'd like to get more into that when we come back. So we are going to take a bit of a break, and then we'll come back and talk about that nuance as well as the circle. I'm really interested in that.
No problem.
African Voices Radio, amplifying our stories, connecting our communities.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. This is African Voices Platform Radio with AfriWoman on AfriWoman Chats. My name is Chiwe Chihana, and it's just gone 18 past 4 p.m. and I've got Salma Mohamed as my guest here in the studio, and I've also just been joined by one of our young radio hosts here at African Voices Platform, Grace Osasu. So Grace will join me in speaking to Salma just for a little bit and ask some questions that are pertinent to young people. Grace, could you take it away?
Yes, hello, my name is Grace Osasu. I am a young person. I'm the former co-chair of the Sheffield Youth Cabinet and now the SEND representative. And I was quietly listening in the background to Salma and Chiwe's conversation. And I just wanted to ask Salma, in terms of her organization, if there's firstly any way in which we can, as young people, help and facilitate within the organization, but also if there's any way that we can support it and be supported by it and learn more.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, Grace, thank you for coming and asking me this question. And I think it's an important question to ask because it's like, it first of all shows me that you sort of are inclining that there is that need for young people to get involved in something this important, and that want as well.
Yes.
And I think for me, with the organisation being so new, we've already sort of landed a few conversations with the NHS around research, where, the circle I was mentioning, projects for the network. And I think for young people, it would be an amazing opportunity for students to get involved, no matter who you are. People think because it's Somali, that it's only Somali people that can get involved.
Yeah.
It's just that the Somali community is very nuanced in its culture and in its difference to other sort of cultures. And I think we're all boxed under, like I was saying earlier, the word BAME. And I think that does a really, really big injustice to that community and those narratives it holds, and how repetitive they are within that community as well. It's not just one family with one story. It's consistent. So with young people getting involved in those conversations when we do launch programs, focus groups in terms of our research, speaking on that, students, volunteers, there's a few roles that are coming out to support us as well. Things like that, just like stay connected, send us a message on Instagram, we're quite popping on there, and stay involved, because it's the new generation. We're sort of highlighting what we have to deal with, or what that community specifically deals with, being a generation that is mixed with this culture in this country, and what the culture that's basically dominant to our homes. And like when we speak specifically around mental health, that's different, isn't it, for the version of that for our parents. They don't know it's the health of the mind. They don't know it's actually, like when we say mental health, it's not like you're crazy. It's everyone has mental health. Right? And the language we hold in our home based on mental health might not be the same as what this country would describe sadness and depression. Maybe our parents might not know that because they're on survival mode constantly because of where they've come from, and that's how they've had to deal with it. But we're not in war anymore. And a child transitioning from year 6 to year 7 can have the same anxiety, or if not less, let's just say, but it is anxiety as parents associate to war. And that's why they don't understand. We've done workshops where it's brought out those conversations, and they don't understand, like balloon popping exercises. If I popped a balloon right now, wouldn't you feel that anxiety? Well, imagine parents actually having their balloons popped and saying, well, this feeling doesn't match up to a child. This is what we associate to war, to Home Office letters coming through. I mean, parents, they see a letter come through their door, and they know, they can't read it, but they know where it's from just by the colour of it.
That's so true, actually.
And that is like an anxious state to be in. You might experience that in GCSE letters that you're waiting for. But it's a different narrative, but we need to research that, and we need to really understand where we need to meet, and young people can help us design that even further.
And I'd also love to see more conversations around it, particularly with your organization, and maybe even pop-ups within schools and things, so that people know, firstly so that people even know about it, and then they know how that they can be involved and be a part of it. That'd be really interesting.
That would be, yeah, definitely. It's a big thing we're wanting to do with different partners, different people. So schools is a big one. Prevention is the way that we're working, because in the NHS, the reason why we were even thought about in the NHS is because the beds in the crisis wards are like really, really, if you look at the numbers of Somalis that live in Sheffield and the numbers that are accessing those crisis points is like 5-6 times overrepresented. And what that basically means is that there's so many Somalis that are named that are coming into these crisis points over other ethnicities. And that's named. Can you imagine how many Somalis don't actually name themselves as Somali?
Yeah.
So we don't know how many. Why are they reaching crisis points? And then when you look at the statistics of how old they are, 90% of those numbers is young people under 30.
Wow.
Fully speaking English.
From the streets of Sheffield to your radio worldwide, African Voices Radio brings you every beat, story, and conversation of our African diaspora and family. Tune in on DAB, online, or in your car. We're your community, your culture, your connection. For inquiries, adverts, or to sponsor, email us on radio@africanvoicesplatform.org or visit our website. African Voices Radio, amplifying our stories, connecting our communities. You're listening to AfriWoman Chats on African Voices Platform Radio. My name is Chiwa Chahana. Thanks so much for staying with me. I am still with Salma Mohamed. We've been talking about the Somali Mental Health Network, which she founded. And now we're going to be moving along to talking about some of the other amazing work that Salma is doing and see how you can engage with it. Salma, welcome back to African Voices Platform Radio.
Thank you.
How have you enjoyed your little break? What did you do? You just had a glass of water?
I had a bit of water, and Grace was amazing, and I was just like in awe of her as well. But you're
She's
back.
such an inspiring young person.
It's
Grace.
lovely.
But did you hear yourself say water like an American?
Water.
Or was that intentional?
A bit intentional. I felt a bit,
Yeah, I was like, what? What's going on here?
Oh my goodness, it was so American, definitely.
Water. Like
Water.
where's the tea? Well, Salma, you thank you for sharing your journey with the Somali Mental Health Network, your aspirations, and where we hope that goes. I think it's very important work. I think many would agree as well.
Thank you.
That it's very important work. But amongst the many other things you do, where should we go first? Should we go to the emerging leaders, or should we go to Sanctuary 27? Where you feeling the energy right now?
No, someone said to me today actually, I was doing some community scoping conversations about Sanctuary 27, and she said something that I related to a lot. She was like, I look at my different outfits that I wear for my different roles, and I try and match it to how I feel in that role.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, wow, I do that with my scarves. Like, depending on where I'm going, I make sure that and honestly, there's so many different roles and different things I have to do. I kind of just stopped and caring. But Sanctuary 27, if I start with that, it's an amazing initiative. A couple of organisations have come together with the council as well that supported them to run. So next year, Sheffield, it's the 20th year of Sanctuary. And that's really important. But what's the saddest thing that we realised as community inspiration coordinators, they call it.
Okay. So that's your job.
That's my role.
I haven't said congratulations, have I? Congratulations on your new job with Sanctuary 27.
Thank you.
Is this your first interview related to that?
Yes, it is. You are my first.
Good. So you're hearing it from me, from Salma on African Voices exclusively, but learn about it because I'm sure there's a call out for people to be involved with Sanctuary 27. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, the saddest thing we realised, so there's me, Mutasim, that are the community inspiration coordinators. As freelancers, we've been recruited so that we could support the overall vision of next year to be a year-long programme or a festival or kind of celebration in ways that different communities identify with Sanctuary. So the idea is to bring so many partners on board and kind of facilitate every year kind of like board and like for the funding to reach different communities each year. So they can use the money and then they can actually be a part of Sanctuary 27 under the banner in a way that they identify that's best for the community they face. Yeah. Now, the saddest thing that we realised is that Sanctuary being the 20th year in Sheffield as a city of sanctuary, I need to stop fiddling with my hands. I'm a hand talker. So I continue, so sorry about the scrambles, but a lot of people didn't realise that Sheffield was the city of sanctuary, or didn't even know what sanctuary really meant.
Okay,
in
so this is
communities.
something, yeah. The more you look into it, so we've been living in an echo chamber of sorts, the ones that know about this, is it?
Yeah, there's a big division
Okay.
between those that know about it and that are involved, and those that should be involved but
Right.
aren't really established groups or like well-known groups. They are still groups.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know about lots of different groups that lead themselves and lead their communities.
Totally,
But they don't have that support or that connection to the council, to places of power, to understanding what sanctuary is, and we're bridging that. Okay. So we had to go take 10 steps back and actually identify what a sanctuary mean to different groups. And when we went through that and explained it in different languages, they said, we are sanctuary for our community.
Oh, wow.
We are the safety. We are like the place, like the bridges I was saying today. So our role is to make sure that people express how they'd like next year. If we give them a budget, like resources is not a barrier in your vision and dreaming. Yeah. And people, the first thing they say is, well, how much? Well, I can't do anything, but
you have to tell me what you would like to see happen, or what you like to do. Is that how it works?
No, so people in the community are so used to being told no sometimes with funding that they can't even dream anymore of what their contribution could be. So that's why we have to really take the privilege away of ourselves in understanding that lots of communities might not even know how to dream. They just deal with those that they're helping with. They don't have time
to
responding
to emergencies rather than creating a bigger vision of how do we stop this, or how do we make it a sanctuary if it is
together.
So rather than just dealing with today they don't have food. That's what you mean, like the bigger vision.
How do we celebrate the 20 years of what you guys have been doing as a core? Like, how do we do that in a way where you can do it? So let's say, for example, ISRAC, as an organisation, they're a Somali organisation. They're a building of sanctuary, quite literally, since the beginning. The first grandmother of mine came. They went straight to ISRAC. That was the place. Yeah. But they do a lot in terms of Somali dancing, arts and culture. It's very taken away from arts and culture in Sheffield. Like, they also express their freedom, their agency in different ways. Wow, yeah. And food and connection and community. How do we bring that and not colonize that, but tokenize that, but more so keep that independence and link it to other organisations that might do that in a different way, and create this whole ecosystem of City of Sanctuary where everyone's celebrating in a way that they feel closest to. And the conversations we've been having has been so inspiring to me. And it's really exciting to see, like, next year the potential of organisations actually, because they were saying things like, we don't want just one-off events. Let's do something about the younger generation that deserve that resilience training, and like Islamophobia, racism, all of these things, microaggression, like that's still the opposite of sanctuary. Totally, how do we tackle that in this program? Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's different for everyone.
Right. And how are you finding the response, and are people starting to understand what the vision is? Are you getting buy-in?
Yeah, definitely. It's different for anyone. So some organisations have a building. So they're like, we'd love our building to be like, what did she say? She said like a nucleus. It's a bit weird, but like a safe space, like the middle of the whole area. And like have like different projects or different things, or have like graffiti on their building temporarily and then paint it over, like messages from people that are asylum seekers. You have also an idea of like on the City of Sanctuary, like Chapel Walk. You've seen it to be like the floor to be full of different migrants that have come into the country.
So like a walk of honor of sorts.
Ownership of them.
Sorry, I meant honor as in honoring them. Yeah,
yes.
A walk of honor. Yeah.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah. That's just another idea. You have you just have so many different ways. Theatre, you have panelists, you have like Somali mothers wanting to be on a panel to describe some of their experiences and some of the things that they've battled, but also have it in a way that can be translated to the younger generation. Like, or a documentary with subtitles, or something that can really bring that into light. Yeah. There's no limits. We have to literally be so creative with taking those barriers a way so we can really identify how best you want to do that, so we can work towards it.
I love it. I mean, definitely African Voices platform will be very happy to collaborate
for sure.
on this. So I'm gonna be talking to you guys.
We'll talk.
That's exactly what we're here for. Another thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Actually, is there a call out? Is there something people need to do for the Sanctuary 27 before we move to emerging leaders?
Yes, please do either go onto Google Sanctuary 27 Sheffield and it will come up. Email me at salma@sbctheatre.com. There's information on the City of Sanctuary website as well as the SBC Theatre website. The first step is to reach out. The second, you can find me on LinkedIn as well as Salma Mohamed. There's information on how to reach out there as well. The second step is I'll book a meeting with you to kind of go through the consultation form, bring out those visions and how you'd like to be a part of this next year. And then the third step is joining our roundtable, which you need to come to as well soon for the communities.
Okay, right.
And it's so important for us to all be in a room together. We all do amazing work separately. It's good to be part of that conversation together.
Brilliant.
Early phases.
A very good initiative, and of course I love SBC Theatre. I actually forgot their partners on Sanctuary 27. Yeah, they kind of lead alongside the council and City of Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Those are the key powers. Key partners.
Yeah. The key leads, but it's not. They really humble about it as well, because they're so aware that they have started this, but they're not always going to be the ones that lead. They really want this to be an equal opportunity for everyone to be involved.
Okay.
And to kind of pass on that power as well to other communities that deserve to be in the light. And the big thing about it is, like, for example, the Crucible Theatre are really involved in giving space. You have Sharrow Community Forum that are giving space. You have ISRAC willing to give space. Like, if you don't have space, don't worry about it. Like, if
there are places that are
willing to hold you and your vision.
Great.
So reach out.
That's brilliant. Okay, so that's salma@sbctheatre.com if you're looking to participate in Sanctuary 27, and then you'll have a chat with Salma. That's a very important initiative, so please make a note of that. If you're tuned in from South Yorkshire, listening to us on DAB radio, but if you're tuning in from anywhere else in the world, pass it on. It's AfricanVoicesPlatform.org, and we'll be back with you for another 3 minutes to finish up with Salma. From the streets of Sheffield to your radio worldwide, African Voices Radio brings you every beat, story, and conversation of our African diasporan family. Tune in on DAB, online, or in your car. We're your community, your culture, your connection. For inquiries, adverts, or to sponsor, email us on radio@africanvoicesplatform.org or visit our website. African Voices Radio, amplifying our stories, connecting our communities. Indeed, African Voices Platform Radio. We are your community, your connection, and your culture. Welcome back. This is AfriWoman Chats. We're here for the last 4 minutes of the conversation I've been having on AfriWoman Chats with the lovely Salma Mohamed. Yay. Salma, hello.
I don't want to go now.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's been so relaxing talking to you, but that's what happens when you get this good access to a psychotherapist.
I guess you are one too then.
Oh wow. No, my privilege is showing. See, have some people like this in your network. People like, like, I'm very fortunate because your mom's also in my circle, so I feel very privileged. So we were going to, you've just talked to us about Sanctuary 27, but there are other leadership things you're doing around the city, and there are people who are looking, younger people who are looking to see inspiration. Do you want to talk about any other leadership roles that you're occupying and what you're doing with those?
Yeah, so we're currently finalising some stuff from the first phase of the Emerging Leaders program I'm a co-chair for. So we're at a stage now we're thinking about phase 2 and putting it into action. So there's a lot of conversation around that. But essentially it's a group of global majority sort of emerging leaders. There's a difference between leaders and emerging.
Like legacy leaders and...
and it's like developing. There's a difference between white emerging leaders and people from the global majority as well.
Totally, yeah.
And I think that difference isn't usually understood. Why people have a certain way of speaking or a certain way of shrinking or certain, and how do we bring those barriers bespoke to each person into light and work and tackle with them. So it was a lot of conversation, a lot of trial and reflection and repeat, but we're at a healthy stage. So stay tuned in that element as well about how to get involved with emerging leaders and how we grow. But overall, I think there's also a thing around me being a freelancer myself.
Yeah.
I currently am doing a lot of different things in terms of public speaking, consultation.
I'm loving your growth, by the way. It's so visible, palpable, and also relevant. You know, like sometimes there's the stuff where you just say, but you're present, you're for the current, and you're for the future.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna take that with me for the future.
Take it. Yeah,
I feel what you're saying. I think there's something about authenticity and lived experience that drives you, and then people can really see through that.
And it is authentic, and it makes people like me feel a bit less worried about leaders of the future when I see people like you coming through. Yeah, and also also passing on the baton. I've seen your younger siblings also, you know, like showing up in spaces where I see you. That's also lovely.
People mix us up all the time in the community, which is a good thing, I guess.
Do they?
Yeah, it's like, oh, how's it going, Asha? And I'm like, it's Salma this time. But it's true, we are in different, and I think that's amazing that generations can, and it's a testament to my mom. I can't lie to you.
I was gonna say, but you know,
it's a big shout out to Big Sa. Big shout out to Sa.
This morning, I texted with her, and you know, I sent her the flag, the flag, no, not the image of you coming on the show. She goes like, "Yes, go girl."
She's talking to me through the screen. She does root for us, and I've had a lot of experiences where people have knocked me down that don't look like me necessarily sometimes. And I think living in Somaliland, Yemen, Egypt for between the ages of 9 and 19, and coming back at 19 having a culture shock, because over there's no racism, and then you come here and you're like, why am I not liked or respected with dignity? And I think that's when my mom actually sat me down and would really shake me into cracking out of the shell I was really developing. And people say, oh, Salma, it's easy for you to be in this position because your mom's the Lord Mayor, or things like that. And my mom says no, and we all hold our own, because it takes you and a village to crack you out of that stage.
Sophia has been helping young people before she was Lord Mayor.
That's what I'm saying. And how we are is because of the person before that title.
Absolutely.
So it's
how
really
are you
good.
Celebrating her? You know, we've been talking about having this meal when her tenure comes to an end. How are you thinking of celebrating? How are you marking it when her Lord Mayor tenure comes to an end?
It was a big cycle, because she wasn't only just Lord Mayor. Her chosen charity was ISRAC.
Yeah.
And that's the first place that embraced my grandma.
Yeah.
So my grandma come in as a service user, as somebody who was like in need, or anything that you want to describe it as. Powerful person. I think her house was a sanctuary in itself, because the door was always open for anyone. Well, Tosima, who works with me on the Sanctuary 27 project, said to me, I've heard about your grandma before you even tell me. Like, refugees and people in community know her really well. And for my mum to be in positions of power, that is very rare, and then choose the charity of her choice, it was just a cyclical moment. But I guess to celebrate her, I guess we've been celebrating her before her role, and we'll celebrate her afterwards.
Yeah, and whatever becomes, because she's unstoppable, your mum.
Yeah, she is, and she makes space for those that are coming up.
Yeah.
Which is important, because like she says, like, we're going down the hill now, and who's coming up the hill is important to bring.
Absolutely.
She doesn't leave us behind. I think there's a lot of assumptions that young people are not able to be leaders, or they're not competent enough to have big strategic conversations. You've seen Grace today.
I've seen Grace, and it's just young people are leaders.
They are,
just
naturally.
They
can teach you something.
We often undermine their capabilities or who they are. So your mom also introduced me. One of the big television interviews we had last year was with Tyrone and Azzy. Is it Azzy? Tyrone, Azzy, and the
Reach Up Youth
the
Boys.
Reach Up Youth Boys, and we're talking about Steady, their clothing brands, and they came and they held their own in that interview. They didn't need Sophia to be present. All she did was facilitate an introduction, and we invited them, and so they went on, and they've been on Virgin TV, you know, Freeview. So, and I loved what I saw, and now I'm watching them. I watch them from a distance, you know, on social media, and I see the growth.
Kazna pulled them along to her sort of exhibitions as well, with being a fashion award-winning stylist, you know, in her expression direction. She took those same boys, and it does something to you when you're involved and you're built up. They have a voice now in their head that isn't theirs. It's everything that was poured into them through these youth clubs.
So all that to say that great leaders make great leaders.
Great leaders make great leaders by holding their hand and dragging them up with them.
And that's what you've become. So you're also holding your younger siblings' hands as well as you're going on.
Yeah, and do you know what's so interesting? We all hold each other's hands.
Good.
Whoever's low, someone pulls them up, and reminds them. It's a good network support system. If I need something, I'll call my sister. Do you have any contacts? Like, we have a good network, different networks. Mine's mental health. So even in our subjects, like, my mum might not understand half of the things I'm saying. Usually she zones out sometimes. She goes, Salma, just baby it down for me. I don't really know what you're trying to say. And for me, I get really proud in that moment because I'm like, oh, I'm teaching my mum something that she doesn't understand. But my mum teaches me a lot about systems and challenging and being strategic and don't waste your time there. It's a wall that people have banged their head on for so long in communities. It's sad to see that people before us have that stress hold like that they hold,
and it's always see, this is the thing that I knew this would happen with you, like, would just keep going. But this is a good line of conversation because it is true that you start to filter eventually, like, I did that, I saw others do that, and I followed, and we've been doing the same thing. It's just different people, different faces, and the problems do not change. The gatekeepers are also not changing, or the gatekeeping system is also not shifting. So you start to see, and then there's the times when you say, okay, strategically, where's the path to go? How can I circumvent?
We've got shortcuts now, thanks to that.
But any last words before we say bye, and when next are you visiting us at African?
First of all, I'll be here every day now that I'm here. But you're gonna be like, when are you gonna leave? That's the next question.
You'll have to host your own show. Then
my goodness! Can you imagine? I won't hang up. I don't know if I'll stop. But I guess the last thing I would want to say is just watch this space. I guess there's so many things I've unloaded today, but they all are under the same theme, same mission. It's just giving people a better life that they deserve and confidence. And no matter what bodies we hold, we deserve to be in those spaces. And I will break through the doors if I have to, because that's what those before me did.
I saw you carrying a bulldozer, like I said.
And I will be running through. I'll tell you that. But and thank you for having me here as well. I think giving people a voice to express that and reflect. It's been really nice just hearing myself, and as narcissistic as that sounds, but
no, it's good to reflect.
Well.
The patient. I think this is the thing. It's never about us who are hosting. It's always about the audience, but also you to just breathe in and understand again. Like, it just gives you a position to reset as well, to think through, because you are doing a lot of work, a lot of mental health work, despite being a mental health practitioner. So it's nice to have you, and I really do honor you and the dignity with which you carry yourself through our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shuwe. And by the way, we're going to be doing like art and exhibition and ways to creatively storytell our results and findings as we go. So stay connected. We'd love your mentorship on that as well.
Very nice.
You'd love that.
I would love that. I would love that. Yeah.
Please do.